Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Monday. Finally, the day is here when we get to meet with the entire family with E3 and Learn podcast. Let me go ahead and make sure that we got everybody running. Let me go ahead and remove a couple of the ones that are not working and add the ones that are working. It's going to take me a minute. So if you're watching this live, first thing, if you have questions, today is the day. Today is the day when you get to ask as many questions as you have, and we'll be happy to assist as always. And let me go ahead and introduce everybody that you already know. And if you don't know, let me go ahead and get them in. Ladies first, we got Kara Jean from Taking Care of Business, Irina Pornova, our manifestation coach, Bruno, our self love coach, and me, John Acosta, your business wizard. I help you with digital marketing and business development. So let's go ahead and get started. So, hello everyone.
Hello. Hi.
We're
All
back.
right. All right. So I'm just getting everything reset up from last time. I'm gonna go ahead and put some music. On the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about today's topic. Okay. So today's topic is digital marketing strategies for small businesses which are scaling on a budget. So let's go ahead and get some of that started. Give me 1 second. I'm pretty sure we're getting a lot of echo, so I apologize. Let me go ahead and fix that. There we go. We're gonna fix that. Go. Now the echo is gone on my end. And we're gonna fix the volume right now. And this, remember, this is live. So, as I get started and get everything situated, so which one would you like to say, would like to start with this question? When you started your business, what was the first thing that you thought online was gonna make you successful and make you recognized by everyone right away without a lot of effort? Who would like
I
to
can
answer
start.
that one? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I had no idea what I was doing for sure. I really honestly had no clue. Because there was like the problem sometimes with social media, there's so many things you can try. And it's like, it's just, and you're trying, but you're not even following a system within that system, right? So you're following, like you're copying ideas from other people, but you don't really have a system of what happens after, and then what happens after, that and that, right? So everything needs a system, and I mean, it's like I had videos that had like 2,000 views, 3,000 views, but I never really scaled it way more than that, right? Because you also kind of like gotta like build up like your followers and stuff. And I figured that like out of so many things that I just got to a point where it just hit me, and I was like, oh, but these people, they're doing what works for them, and I doubt that they got it first time. They probably tried a lot of things and it didn't work, and boom, it works. So me copying what they're doing, it doesn't make any sense because we're all different. So what works for me might not work for them. In fact, what works for me, they tried it before and probably didn't work. And now I'm going to try what they're doing. It's not going to work for me because there's something in store for me that is what's meant for me to be doing and to really make the impact that I so desire, right? And so I was like, it's very important that you stick to your strengths. My strength is talking, right? And I figure that that's very important in social media because the humanness out of you can come out and people can connect with you in a way that they don't connect with many people face to face, right? So that's what I do, and that's what I've been doing, and I've been on this road. Like, I'm on day 70 now of inspiring like 1 million women, and it really doesn't matter how many days it takes, because it's a system that eventually works, right? Because you're on a journey, right? And at the same time, it's all about like really like building it up, right? And you're gonna get your followers and more stuff like that because people will tune in also for the journey, right? Um, so it's all about really like what excites you and all that stuff, right? But in the beginning, I really had no idea what to do. The first thing was let me copy what people are doing until I just simply understood that, like, I'm just gonna stick to my strengths. So yeah, it is absolutely.
Hmm. All right. So, who else would like to answer the question? Which social media platform you started, or which platform do you think was gonna make you successful at the beginning when you just started?
So I didn't though. Like I didn't think social media was going to make me successful. I thought social media was actually just this giant beast that you could use, but that I imagined it was more like shouting into the void to sort of figure out how to say things and get just general feedback from the void. I never expected to get any kind of notoriety for it. So when I did, when that happened for the first time, I was like, I'm sorry, what? You follow my content, right? You're a fan, like you've never met, but you're not like just my mom liking my stuff. Thanks, mom. So I really didn't think I had no connection to that I was going to get online and become famous. I
Okay.
yeah, I didn't. That never even crossed my mind early on.
That is awesome because I've been asking that question, the same question, to a few people, and there's people that the biggest answer has been YouTube and TikTok, and I guess it's because we're a lot older than the people that I've been asking. We're like, because I was just gonna get to that. I never thought one of them would make me successful or reach. How about you, Irina? What was your
No,
train of thought when you started working with social media?
for me, Facebook. Facebook till now it works for me. I think this is the good platform because it has also the communities. That's exactly where we can create the Facebook groups, and that's how we can connect with people. And I remember for the first year, I was like completely reluctant to make any videos. I always worry about what if I'm just gonna be frozen and not knowing what to say next. But once, like you step over that fear, everything works out.
Yep, that is true. And you mentioned one thing, stepping over the fear. That is such a tough thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly when you're gonna put your first video, your first post, your first like, what am I gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna like my stuff?
Yay.
Um,
So it is really, really the toughest thing when you are trying to figure it out, trying to figure what's gonna be good and working. So now that I know that we've all faced some of the same situations, let's go and talking about the importance of not being on just one channel, but being on many channels. Because here's the thing, everybody consumes media in a different way. There's people that actually like to go ahead and use TikTok only. And I'm I'm one of them because I select the subject and I get endless information of it. And my algorithm gets actually even tired of seeing me seeing the same thing over and over in different formats. But there's people that would actually love the pictures and the images, or like Irina said, Facebook, that close knit contact with everybody. So, yes, it is really, really, really important to use them all. Now, Bruno, a question as a self love coach. Okay, when people are afraid of doing their first post, their first video, what technique or which way would you guide them to overcome that fear?
Well, we're dealing with like fears of like failing, and it's more than failing here because it's fear of public humiliation. right? So it's fear of hatred, right? We all know about cyberbullying and how it is, right? But I figure that the number one way for people to deal with it is to, well, I'd say that if I was if I myself was afraid of doing, of doing it, I would just, put myself in an uncomfortable situation. That's the first point. I try to understand why I fear that. I think it's very important to understand why we fear that. Understand, what is making us doubt ourselves and what is making us, not believe in ourselves. And then number two, really developing a way, turning that insecurity into confidence by following the right approach. Maybe have a little guideline that we can follow, little step by step, right? For example, Irina was saying, once I first started, doing videos, I thought I didn't know what I was gonna say, and then I was gonna block, and people was gonna see that, right? A good way that you can stop that and turn that insecurity into confidence is really having a guideline. Have a little script that you don't have to follow per se, but you can take ideas from, right? That's the tool that you can use, right? You want to minimize the risk of your fears becoming true, and so if you use those little tools, right, if you can minimize the risk, then you can turn that into confidence because now you know what to do. When you know what to do, now you can use that as a way for you to never feel that way ever again, right? That's a good way. Another way is again understanding why. Another way is to truly be comfortable with it, like learn from other people, like look at other people's videos, see how they're doing it, give it a little twitch. You don't have to reinvent the wheel per se, absolutely not, right? You just have to make it your own way, right? Like I figure that like the pressure that exists because you're not going to conform to the ideal type of videos that are online, right? Maybe you don't have the right camera, maybe you don't have the right type of clothes, you don't have the right background and the right type of environment, and you don't know how to do your stuff. But if that's not your forte per se, then you don't even have to do it that way because it's going to feel forced. And people can notice it. Like people can notice when you're forcing something. People can notice when you're not being themselves. And even nowadays, it's super important that people are themselves on TikTok and Instagram because people are needing that. That thing about perfect content, perfect visuals, aesthetic visuals, it's still a thing, but it's slowly kind of fading away, and we're transitioning again to the natural, authentic content that people are lacking, right? Because there was too much of perfection in TikTok and Instagram. There was too much perfect reels, right? Too much movie type of videos, right? And people are really lacking, like the natural human type of formats, the human type of words, the raw motivational stuff. They're lacking it. So that this now is the perfect time for you to do that. So being yourself is actually a good thing, and you should be it. Trust me.
Okay, thank you very much. So now let's get a little bit before doing the action. As a manifestation coach, Irina, how would you guide somebody to start manifesting to put their first before they put their first post, before they put their first video? What techniques, what tools would you provide for them for that from a professional stand view?
I love that question. So I always teach we have to have the intention. What is your intention when you post something or put in the video together, right? What would you like to teach in your content? This is very important. What is your ending result? So I always teach people have the intention with every action that you are taking, because each action has to have some kind of purpose. And when you have that clarity, what exactly you want to achieve, then it's easy for you to develop that content because you already understand who is your audience and what you want your audience to learn. So
That is
intentionality, yes, intentionality is crucial, right? And then obviously, feedback is great. So if you are doing the video, talk to your people, right? Don't just be there segregated from them, but be part of them. Talk to them, be like human, even though, like I said, with all our imperfections, people love when we are real. And when we remove these walls and just want to hear more from people, and then we're like, okay, comment, and we always respond to the comment. People feel welcome, people feel heard, and they want more of us, of our content.
That is true. And Kara, now let's get into the business side of things. So, what will be the tools or the things that you uh, as a business coach think that should be said and or not said when you're working on your first video or your first post?
Okay, so I don't know necessarily the business side. So that gets into like business marketing, and I'm not a marketing coach, right? I struggled with that when I first started. I really did, because my brain doesn't lean that direction. However, from a leadership point of view, what I know is that the more people that you put information out to, the more feedback you're going to get, and feedback is always a gift. It just is. It allows you to what information is landing. Am I speaking too fast? Am I speaking too slowly? Am I getting to the point? Is my point worth listening to? Right? You get that feedback. Now, hashtag warnings. There are absolutely, as a woman who is going out there, things that I suddenly had to pay attention to is that on average, a new female account gets attacked within 12 hours in some form of someone has reached out and said, hey, baby, you so pretty, or something along those lines. And men can go their entire online career without ever experiencing that. What my husband has never experienced. It boggled my mind. Like, I used the word jiggly in a post and had 15 guys in less than 15 hours. Hey, baby. Come on now.
Wow.
So there is a things to be aware of. There is, and any kind of time that you are experiencing other humanity, and digital marketing, online social spaces is community. And it's a particularly interesting community because it is not face to face. So there are all kinds of back loops and doorways and sideways and things. So to everyone's point, we already brought it up, authenticity. Like, be who you are and accept the feedback, but accept it as feedback, not as necessarily specific humans speaking to your human. Take it as them experiencing the online persona that you are putting out there, and then see how you want that online persona to be perceived. A tool that I know works really well for personal branding and as well as business branding is to go and find 3 celebrities who you really align with, that you like their flash, you like the message that they're sending, you like the poise that they have, whatever those things are, and take those 3, and we have the internet, we have the AIs, and you just go to the Wi-Fi's and the Wi-Fi's, and you compile all of that information, and you can actually create a 3rd persona, a 4th persona. You can take pieces from them and compile them together. You can use them as an example for which direction you do want to go. But celebrities and big businesses, you can do this for your business as well. Pick 3 major companies that you like the message they are sending, you like the way that they have chosen to do things, and compile them, because businesses and celebrities all have branding teams. The rest of us are doing this from home, on the call with John going, have a question, or watching the YouTube videos going, okay, I get search engine optimization, but how do you optimize it? Right? And so from a leadership point of view, from a business point of view, you really want to know what you are putting out there and what you are accepting feedback on, because the rest of it you can just drop then, right? Especially if you take it, it's easy as a person to put that information out there and feel that as a person you are presenting your soul and it is being judged and weighed and measured, and You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Don't no no. However, you can put concepts, ideas, frameworks, information, and see what people are like. Oh, that was cool, and ooh, I like that, or that uh, that didn't hit wrong, right? And decide, does that align with where you want to go or does it not? Because either way is really good feedback. That's the direction I think of that.
That is true. Whenever you have that feedback, is what's going to take us to the next step. So now that we have mentioned about what has worked for us and how we view it, and it's unfortunately what Kara said. It is true. Women get that type of attention instead of being seen as the professionals they are. They get seen as something different. So it is unfortunate that that happens because there's a lot of bright women out there that are putting amazing content and they're just focused on something else. Now that we
Can
have
I
made
can I
that,
say something?
sure.
Yeah, just to say to Kara, I completely agree with you. Like, I'm a women's self-love coach, right? Usually what I tell women is like, look, like those people, they're not the people you want to be with. They're not your audience. It's not right. It's not your type of audience. Like those people
Ghost and
who
heart.
creep, right?
Yeah.
Those people
Yeah.
who creep into your DMs, like those people who creep into your direct messages or into your comments and whatever. Those are not the people you're even looking for. So those comments are completely useless because if that is not your potential client you would ever have, and they would never want to work with you anyways, then it doesn't matter, right? It matters what your clients and the people you are trying to impact. It matters what they want, not what other people want, right? So it's the way we see it, right? And I'm not saying you don't know this, but to everybody here who's watching this, right?
Yeah.
Know that if it's not a person you really, if it's not a person you hang around with, if it's not a person you listen to, and if it's not a person that you talk to, then it really doesn't matter what they say, what they comment. It doesn't really matter for every single woman who's watching this. Please take that into consideration.
I love that. I would double down. If it starts with "Hey baby" or a variation of that, it's pretty safe to just leave it unread. Like
Yeah.
you don't even need to. You just don't. Permission now if you see that. And gentlemen, if you are out there starting a conversation with "Hey baby," know that we're going to leave you on unread.
Yeah.
We're not even leave you on read. We're going to unread that.
All right. Unfortunately, what happens is the sad truth of social media and society. But the importance of doing your marketing on different social media platforms, because one, it's free. Two, as I mentioned, everybody consumes marketing in a different way. And three, most important, you actually are showing people what you do. That social proof. Last week we were talking with Bruno that people need to know you, like you, and trust you in order to shop or do any type of business with you. So when those things meet on social media, first they get to see great content. Then they actually like you, like they like what Kara, Irina, and Bruno were saying. They like your persona. They like the way you are. Then the last thing is the more content they see about you, they're gonna start trusting you, and you're gonna start becoming, their preferred person to watch on XYZ topic. So don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing, but show who you really are. That will be my biggest thing. Now that we know that that is a low cost tool, now that we know that that will help our business, let's talk about leveraging social media ads with a small budget for maximum impact. Okay, which one of you is currently using paid social media apps to
I
run their
did
marketing?
use a couple of times.
I have.
You did
I
use
don't.
it, so you're not longer. Okay, good. Bruno, have you ever used any social media ads? Paid social media ads?
No, no, and I have my reasons anyways.
That's not a problem. Everybody can have their reasons.
Yes, I
I'm not
know.
saying, yeah. The main thing here is that understanding that if you want to go ahead and go to Google or Bing and tell them, hey, I would like to market with you, They're gonna tell you, okay, you gotta shell out $1,500 every month, minimum $500 every month, but truly, no results guarantee. But here's the beauty about social media. If you know how to segment your clients on social media, you will see a lot more return. One of the biggest things that people tend to make as a mistake for lack of knowledge is that they try to buy social media ads straight from Facebook or straight from Instagram. And guess what happens? You're gonna miss your target because let's be honest, do you know exactly when your audience is like right in front of their phone or in front of their computer? Not really. But guess what? Instagram, Facebook, they do. They ping you every time you go ahead and open your phone and open your computer. hmm So what you want to use is there's an app for your phone. It's called MetaSuite. If you have not used MetaSuite, please download it and now start segmenting your client. How do you segment your client? Start local. Do your best that you're not going more than 5 tops 10 miles from whatever your business is at. Because one of the biggest mistakes that people have is that they pay for marketing and they don't even look at where they're targeting. Real life story. I had a client that was paying $150 a month, which is not a lot, but is enough to give you some results. But guess what? Instead of targeting West Palm Beach, they were targeting the entire state of Florida. And on top of that, they were a restaurant. So who's going to drive 10 hours, 12 hours to the restaurant? So they were actually getting views, they were getting hits, they were getting numbers, and they're like, I don't understand. This is crazy. Why this is not working? Well, number one, location, location, location. Okay. Does either one of you segment by location first?
Well, I have to tell you that I hired the professional who works with the matter, and they've done a great job because it was all segmented. And for me, location doesn't matter. I mean, I picked the countries that I would love to work with. And for me, it's more about targeting the audience that is looking for what I have to offer. So I was very specific with that.
Okay, that is good. But that's because you're lucky enough that your business, you connect into any digital platform and you
Exactly.
can go ahead and
Yes.
connect.
Mhm.
But what about all the other businesses that they have a brick and mortar? What about the other businesses that don't know where to get started? In like we said at the beginning, remember we mentioned that we have to test the waters, we have to get feedback. What a better way of knowing if what your marketing is doing is right before you present it to the entire United States or the entire world? See what your local community is saying. Get some
Yeah.
feedback. Guess what? It's gonna be a lot cheaper to do marketing locally than the broader the spectrum is, the more expensive it gets. So it's it's one of the tools. That's why the title of today is scaling on a budget. It's it's for the mom and pops, the little business, the one that is just starting. Because if you have the money to hire a professional, you're already at another level. Now that professional has to make sure that they meet your criteria and they come every month and tell you, hey, Irina, here's the reports. And then you match the reports versus how many clients paid in. And that's a different story. But it's not the story for the small businesses. Small businesses, like tiny businesses, they cannot afford it. They usually don't know where to get started. And that's where we're trying to go ahead and help them out today. In Now, for example, you have a professional right now doing it for you. What is the thing that you like the most about working with him or her?
Well, I told you that I'm not doing it anymore. And actually,
Oh,
I did the first time I did it, it's on Fiverr, and they are very reasonable. People who really work just with, ads. They know exactly how to target, they know exactly what to do, right? So I did have great results. But again, results in terms of adding people to my email list, as we all know, that a lot of people are signing up for the free training, and it's a small percentage that they actually show up. But at least I did have these people because I nurture them and they are on my email list, and they become clients at some point.
there you go. And you're talking about our next topic, email marketing, nurturing. What happens once you have some people, some followers, some people in your world? You need to nurture them. What are some of the best ways that you're currently using to nurture your clients?
Emails on a weekly basis where I add the value, and just like giving some tips and advices, and I relate to my personal stories. And then I just finished 30 days live where I was sending the emails on a daily basis. Hey, join me in 30 minutes live. And let me tell you, I did have a bunch of unsubscribers. Why am I saying that? That it's okay, because a lot of times we focus on, my god, somebody unsubscribe, and we completely overlook the fact that there are so many people who love what we deliver and keep opening on a daily basis your emails, right? So the great leaders are the ones who are built on wins. I just want to emphasize again, look at what worked for you and multiply that what worked for you. Do more of it. And keep celebrating yourself, even small wins. Keep celebrating, because this is going to make you go and do what you have to do, even in the times of setback or failure.
Hmm. That is good. And Carol, what about you, as from the leadership standpoint? I know that you use email marketing as well. Which other ways can leaders nurture their people?
Well, so I'm having a brain buzz from the last exchange with you and Arena around the local, right? So 5 to 10 mile is local, which is awesome because I do a lot of local stuff. But I'm also, a solopreneur who works internationally, and and so as you were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, you could do it local by time zone. So if I want to fill something at 9 o'clock in the morning, my time, that's a whole different time around the world. But if I specialize my marketing for that area at that time, I'm already training that audience to come to events at that time. So that was delightful. I appreciate that 5 to 10 mile radius. I will be leveraging that for travel and
Yeah, and not,
marketing.
not only that, one of the things that of working local is that it starts giving you the numbers. And what do I mean by numbers? It tells you how many men, how many women saw your ad. So now, for example, if you're like Bruno, he's more targeting to self-love coach for women. Guess what? You're gonna be tweaking that message until you got a higher percentage of women. So that's why you don't spend, you make a nice investment into fine-tuning your marketing when you do it locally. There are
Yeah.
many benefits of starting locally, and then we start going by fine-tuning into gender, fine-tuning into keywords, that's the beauty about it. That's why I like to start, let's figure where you at so we can go ahead and fine-tune, and then we can, like you mentioned, Irina, Bruno, you, Kara, all of you have the amazing capability of you jump in front of a computer and you can reach masses.
Have
So
Zoom, can't travel. The internet
there
works,
you
so
But
do
you
I.
know what? I still disagree in terms of the locally, because for me, I can have people in my radius who are not even interested in personal development. So I'm not looking to target local people. I'm looking to target people who are eager to know exactly what I offer. So that's
Okay.
exactly where my dilemma comes in.
Okay,
Because
and then I'm gonna have to answer to you as a digital marketing professional, because here's the thing: if you have a fine-tuned machine, meaning that you know that you have your marketing that is outstanding, that is reaching the right people, because we have done the research, and then you blow it up into the masses, like you mentioned, you get a better chance of getting more people than what you're currently getting. Good example: I love strawberries and cream. But if I go fishing and I put a strawberry on the hook, how many fishes do you think are gonna love my strawberry? Not all of them, right?
that's exactly what I'm telling you. If I do not
Yes.
have locally people who are interested in self-development, there is no point for me to do that.
Zig Ziglar used to say, whenever it's time to sell, people wonder where is the right spot to start selling. And you know what he says? Pick up a rock, throw in there, wherever it lands, go and sell. It's not about how good it is the market around you. It's around fine tuning. Like, here's the thing: let's say that you have X amount of food, okay, but you won't get any more food for the rest of the year. Quick question: would you go ahead and blow it up and eat it all today because you already know that tomorrow you're not getting any?
No.
Or would you break it up in chunks and see where you can forage or get more food, and be more resourceful?
Okay,
Same thing
but
happens in
yeah, I'm
marketing.
still trying. Yeah, I'm trying to connect the dots.
Okay, so let me put it this way: Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all the big brands, before they launch a marketing campaign, go ahead. Yes, Karen.
I'm gonna show you exactly what you said, but in a completely different way, right? So local market can be just as hard as international market. That is factually true, because turns out folks be folks everywhere, right? It is really easy, especially in our local market, to see what's not working because we're living in it. That is where we are a product of that. We grew and found places to grow because we felt like we were in a place that was stagnating us. However, if you existed in your market, there is a younger you, there is another you there who absolutely is just waiting to have somebody locally say this because they also feel stagnant and stuck and like nobody else wants to develop. Are they the crazy one? And so leveraging your local market to test your media to get those early hand raisers, those voices that are like, oh my God, thank you. I have been waiting for somebody else to say this. If you can get 5 local hand raises off of marketing in a place where you felt stuck, then that means globally you're looking at like 50.
Yes,
That
and that's
helps.
the whole reason why. Yes, Irina, did that help?
I'm still processing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still processing
Big
because
part.
to me, you know what, like you mentioned, if somebody likes strawberries, you're not going to, break and try to offer these strawberries locally if you have the consumers who are eager to have it, far away from you. So that's my point.
Yeah, and you don't have to change your marketing. I also went international first because it's substantially easier to cast a wide net like that. In going local, I was surprised. I am currently continually surprised by the community that has swarmed around because they were waiting for somebody to say the things that I was saying because they did get it, but they also felt that same way. Like I'm gonna get my coaches out of another country. I have to go so far away. And it's not the magic of it is it's not the big giant 500, 2,000 person communities that you build online, right? That is a different beast. But the local one, it's more like 20 to 50 people, but it's tight.
And they're loyal.
But you know what, Kara, I have to ask you a question. You do have the local events. I do not do anything
Right.
locally.
Right.
that's
My thing
exactly
is completely targeted online, so I
Yeah.
cannot really relate to what you are sharing, because I do agree that in-person connection is the best connection,
Yep.
because people perceive you differently when you speak to them. But if I'm talking about reaching out to my right audience, for me, yes, I'm gonna segment it to look for the people who are interested in what I have to offer, and it doesn't have to be locally.
It's true. You're absolutely right. It does not have to be locally. You're
Mhm.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
You do not have to. If you are brick and mortar, it is substantially more important.
Yes,
If you
exactly.
are limited by location, it is incredibly important. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to. That's not, nobody's telling you what you have to do. You're an adult and you know
Mm-hmm.
we totally trust you to make all of the right decisions. That is why you're such
Yeah.
a successful business person.
Mm-hmm.
However, as an additional thing, right? So John, this is Johnny's play space, right? This is like his his thing. So he's saying you absolutely don't have to. However, should you do that, you will find huge benefits at a global level. And I'm just verifying that that was I went global first, went local. That's why I ended up with the local retreats, because my data suddenly said, "Oh shoot, girl, you had a way to make some money in your backyard. Pay attention." And I was like, "Oh, I did not. I didn't. Hey guys, I didn't know you were here. You're amazing. I'd love to hang out with you. That would be so cool." And I had no idea until I started leaning into the local. It was weird. And I'm not saying you have to do it. Just
No, no, you know
okay.
why? Because there are two ways you can build the business, especially in the coaching industry, and that's how I was coached. You either go like in person, or you build online. If you're gonna go both places, you're not going to receive the benefits the way you are going to receive when you focus. Again, talking
Exactly.
about energy, right? When you spread your energy thin, you're not generating the results. So either or. And when you go in person, I agree, then you target locally. If you go strictly online, uh, you just look for the best outcome based on what your target people are.
Okay,
Oh, for sure.
Irina, I agree, but you just contradicted yourself heavily. Just based on energy. Just based on energy. If we're going to get all spiritual, let's go and get technical in the spiritual, because here's the funny thing. You did mention a couple of things that are 1,000% true. Number one, you're a business you're a coach, meaning that your business model is completely different than most people. So, what may work for you may not work for Bruno, just like Bruno said it at the beginning. What may work for one person may not work for another. What Kara said, and I agree with her 1,000%, which is my message is still no matter what, which is, hey, we're not telling you what to do. This is not a class of telling you you have to do it my way or there's no other way. All I'm telling you is that these are proven methods that from the smallest company to the biggest company, it works every single time. Now, everybody's personality, everybody's way of contacting people is gonna make it to reach more or less people. And it's gonna make you more favorable or less favorable in different markets. Because, for example, regardless of how much Bruno, Kara, and I get together and how hard we work into getting an event going on in a Russian speaking community, guess what? In 2 seconds, you're gonna annihilate us. So, I understand that it's different for everybody, but here's the thing, big companies pay millions of dollars to get case studies done, but people don't understand how a case study works. They don't understand if they can afford it. So, what better way of doing a case study than experimenting your own backyard, than trying some of the tools that are going to get you more successful? Because guess what? Being a business owner is like being a hunter. Don't you all agree on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the more clients you get in front of on a daily basis, isn't that gonna make you a better hunter?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Doesn't
Yep.
matter if it's local, international, or in your local church. It's
Mhm.
people. Laws of average. If the person is has a pulse and is breathing, there's a chance that he or she might become your client. But again, you don't want to go ahead unless you have plenty of money and you just want to go ahead and spend it all. Now, you did mention one thing. You mentioned Fiverr, which is a great resource. You can go ahead and use Fiverr, Outdesk. There's even on LinkedIn, there are communities of people specialized on other countries that you can hire for very cheap. Now, you've gotten really lucky. You hire a professional that actually took care of you and did you right. That's fantastic. But there must be a reason why you're not keep using them, either because they were too expensive or because you decided that you may wanted to go another route. Because if
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
using another route. Yes.
Yes, because if it was an amazing way of doing it, you wouldn't have changed it.
Exactly.
So
I have another route. Yes.
there you go. So you see, our tool as a learned community is to teach other people which other ways to fish and become better professionals on whatever their topic is. Could be a baker, could be a coach, could be a marketing person. Everybody needs to know where to find the first thread and start pulling. And then once they start pulling, they have enough thread in their hands, they can either decide to make a sweater or make pants or make something else. But our job as a community is to help people learn how to hunt. Hopefully that helps, because it is coming very, very strong across, and that everybody has a different way of doing business. Now, back to what I was saying, let's make it cost effective. Okay, even if you're using a person in another country that charges you very little, you still have to put money into the Facebook and Instagram. You don't need to tell us how much you were paying, but I can tell you how much I run a local ad. I run a local ad for around $40 a week. 40, that's $120 a month. Each client of me of my studio represents $197 a month. So with me casting a net of $120, I get between 6 to 9 clients every month. Do you have the numbers of your business already? How many clients do you catch? Because that's how you start catching all those numbers, by doing it locally. I understand that you can do it globally, but the same thing applies local, international, in your backyard, into any country. I am sorry that I'm coming so strong, but there are facts that you have to try. And I understand they touch you one way, but let's be honest. Everybody knows how to make the same recipe of steak, chicken, or whatever, and everybody's gonna be delicious. Just gotta figure out where they're coming from.
I'd like to say something,
Yes, go ahead.
if I may. I want to touch on the difference between business to business and business to consumer.
Of course, there's a big
And
difference.
there's massive difference. Jesus Christ. And I know that, for example, like, I think Carol also does business to business, right? You also give speeches to sales in here. Yeah. You, John, you only work with businesses, right? It's business to business period,
No, I
right?
actually I have another job where I actually work with customers, directly to
Okay,
customers.
okay.
Right?
So,
We'll
for
both.
example, like me and Irina, like we're just business to consumer, right? Like business to consumer, I will believe it's like harder than, I mean, Karen as well. Fuck. Sorry, Karen. Um, it's like, right. So business to consumer, I truly believe it's harder than business to business, because on the business to business you have yellowpages.com, you have like thousands of leads that you can like take, like you have their email, everything. On the business to consumer, you have to create something to get first their information, then reach out to them, see if they reply. They don't reply, you gotta find a way for them to reply to you. It's a big mess, right? Obviously systems are very important, right? But for example, like I had a woman, like I had a friend, and she's also a self-love coach, right? And she had to change places because so many things were happening. She had a problem in her marriage. Nobody was buying her stuff because people didn't believe in her and they were like talking shit and whatever. Sorry for my language. So she changed cities, and in the city that she moved to, she got accepted more for what she was doing. And this is all in America, by the way, right? And so it's like, um, and I figure that the culture of the environment itself, the people that live in that environment, you know, when we're dealing with business to business, we're dealing with actual businesses. Like you're a business dealing with another business. You know, there's a big probability the person is gonna show up because the person is ready to move. The person is in business herself. The person respects her time. The person is organized. The person has a plan. The person has all this stuff, right? But when you're dealing with like people who are consumers mainly, oh my Jesus, Lord Almighty, it's just a mess. Um, and you know, it's yeah, yeah, but that's what it is. You know, like there's a big difference business to consumer, even if it's with ads or any sorts of media, tangible media or untangible media. Whether if you're dealing with magazines, articles, you know, like social media, whatever it is, right? Like or just ads. You know, like there's many ways you can like legally nurture your audience. Whether that's it. Everyone's tell us the
Yeah, and I agree with you, Bruno. Each strategy is completely different, and each customer is gonna look completely different at the same product. Just put it this way: in South America, there are so many countries that speak Spanish.
Mhm.
All of them speak Spanish, but certain words would mean something completely different in one country than another. And right there and then, your marketing is all messed up. It no longer works. So by learning what works in your market and becoming a master, you can actually learn how to tweak it, because you get into a new market, you figure out what's the next thing, you tweak it, you adjust it, you go again, tweak it, you adjust it, you go again. And like you said, Bruno, business to consumer is a different situation. You got to figure out how to attract them, and now you have to figure out how to get them loyal and how to stay there. It is a different thing, which
Mhm.
with a business owner, with another business owner, it's going to be the same way. You're going to have to figure out how to attract them, how to be. So certain things are identical, but then the approach is going to be different between business to business. And the main thing here is that I would like for people that if they don't know where to get started, they have a roadmap. At least the most generic roadmap that is actually later, little by little, they will figure out what works in their market, what works for their business, what works for their style of selling. Because let's be honest, we all are sales people, all of us. Because from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, we're selling ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what may work out for some people as a salesperson may not work for another. So with that said, we're bringing already on 55 minutes. I want to thank everybody that has been watching. If you have questions upon how to grow your business, how to get started, and how to move from not knowing what to do into understanding, reach us over. We have a fantastic team. We'll go over. We're not always here to agree, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.